In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the best way to overcome the obstacles that we've been discussing in our previous lectures. And that, of course, is developing and grounding in your own spiritual practice. So I'll be talking about that a bit. A quick recap for those of you who have missed the last lectures. We're going through the Yoga Sutras. And 1.30 says disease, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, sensuality, false perception, failure to reach firm ground, and slipping from the ground gained. These distractions of the mindset are the obstacles. So I went over these 9 in detail and how to overcome them specifically when they come up. Also the accompaniments or the symptoms, which are distress, despair, trembling in the body, and disturbed breathing. I talked about that in a separate video as well. So those are the obstacles that we will face when we're on our spiritual path. We'll have to face those and overcome them. That's what the spiritual path is. That's moving past all of that our mind develops on its own. And the way to do that, 1.32 says, the concentration on a single subject or the use of one technique is the best way to prevent the obstacles and their accompaniments. So this is our spiritual practice, right? You pick one thing, one piece of yoga or of meditation or breath work that you love doing so much that you will do it every single day. Um, for me, I would say my recommendation is at least to begin with a silent meditation. That is the one thing that you can for sure do every day, um, even if only for a few minutes, right? You can do that every day. And you can accompany that with your yoga movement practice or your breath work or any other practice that you would like to do. There are just so many ways to really tap into what is within us. And yoga offers several different options within just yoga. Like there's many different kinds of yoga. There's Kundalini yoga, Kriya yoga, Hatha yoga, which I'm teaching. There's Vinyasa yoga, which is just faster Hatha yoga. Hatha yoga is the main part of that. Um, Raja yoga, there is um, Bhakti yoga, which is just devotion. Um, What else? There's just so many different outlets, and just yoga has just evolved so greatly that even some things that started in ancient traditions have just branched off and become their own practices, which is beautiful as long as the core root, what we're doing, is not lost. And what that is going within and discovering our own true nature, awakening to our true selves. So, overcoming these obstacles is the main way to do that. In my first lecture video, I went over, which one was it? It was from this practice, the awareness turns inward and the distracting obstacles vanish. And I talked about how in our true nature is pure joy and bliss. It's a true bright crystal of goodness and light. And it's kind of hard to believe that with what our mind kind of tells us, what our world kind of tends to show us, right? We just are like, are we really all of that? And yes, yes, you are. So I also want to bring up another sutra in here that talks about how to really root in your practice. It's 1.14. Practice becomes firmly grounded when well attended to for a long time, without break and with enthusiasm. So we want to find a practice that really works for you, that makes you feel like, yes, I want to do this again. Um, and even if you don't like it the first time, I would say try it a couple more times, see if you like it. If you absolutely hate it, then maybe, you know, like if it's terrible the whole time and you tried it for a couple of days, I would say that's not the practice for you. But other than that, try your practice for a while, like at least I tend to work with my practices for 40 days. And if they don't stick after that, then I try something else. And I'm always following these up with my silent meditation, as that is my like grounded, rooted in um, practice. Um, and yeah, sometimes you might not love your practice all the time, like especially with yoga, when you do like really challenging or difficult poses, or if you're doing a Kriya yoga, you're doing a repetitive movement over and over, and your shoulders start to hurt. And you're like, why am I doing this? And then you come down and you come to a fully relaxed state and have like a swirly out of body almost experience. And you're like, oh yeah, that's why I do this. Um, So, and something like that might not come up right away. So you have to practice it for a while before you'll really gain any results from it anyway. So you just have to keep going with it. You just have to keep going with it, go for a long time, um, without break. So you don't really want it to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that today. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Uh, FYI, only this moment. So just keep going. And again, with the enthusiasm, make sure you enjoy doing it. Make sure you're doing it with the right mindset. You're doing it, you're like, this is for my own spiritual liberation, or whatever your specific goal is for doing that practice. You might have a specific intention for your sadhana for in that time period. So yes. And let's see. Well intended to, yeah. Success in any worthwhile endeavor requires time. So always remember that. There's some stories in here about how long it might take, including ones that say it'll take 400 lifetimes. So just take to your practice, do something that you enjoy. It's important to practice with enthusiasm, because if you don't practice with your enthusiasm, then practicing without break is going to be challenging, because as we've discussed before, carelessness leads to laziness, which means you just won't do your practice, and that's not going to help you in the long run. And then you'll come up with your obstacles. I mean, that manifests as an obstacle in itself, which will lead to other obstacles off from that as well. So I think that's about it for this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. I mean, I've been doing this a while, and it takes its time to find a practice that really sticks, like you'll have to experiment with yourself. You'll have to try doing a practice in the morning, right when you wake up, see how that feels. See if you can do that every day for, you know, 365 days in a row. And if you can't, maybe try doing it in the evening, maybe try adding something in the afternoon. Um, and you'll know when your practice is firmly grounded, when you can get like interrupted, right? Like life happens. Something could come up. You have to go on vacation and share a room with someone and you don't have your private space. If you can still do something of your practice, and then once you're back in your private space, nothing has changed. You're still doing your full practice the same way as you would always have, then you know, like you can really know in yourself that, that small interruption didn't stop me. My progress is still happening. Um, and I'm still on the right path. I don't have to redo all of the work I've done already. So I believe that's about it for today's video. I'll be continuing on more obstacles that we face because there are more advanced ones as we get deeper into the Yoga Sutras. Um, my next video, I think, is going to be about one of the niyamas. So it's going to be I might start talking more about the 8 limbs of yoga as well as some of these obstacles because it's really exciting for me and I want to share some of my own takeaways and thoughts on some of those things. So keep an eye out. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check in the comments or check in the description for I've got a free chakra series that you can go through that will give you some practices for each week going up the chakras. So go ahead and check that out if you like. Subscribe, like all the things, leave a comment, and I will talk to you soon. Namaste.